truly a case of strike a pose for the former royal known as Meghan Markle. As ever, let me explain. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you today, and thank you also for your lovely comments about that particular recent video regarding the Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, and of course the ongoing battle for Flamborough Lighthouse and the new light. I know people say, oh, it's a daft thing. It's not actually, it's very serious, and it just proves, doesn't it, that in this sort of wokery world of what we're trying to do, there are certain things that actually do not need to be tampered with. Truly hope the Princess Royal gets behind that particular campaign up there in East Yorkshire. If you've never been to Flamborough, a beautiful spot, winter or summer, but wrap up in the winter. And if you're going up the lighthouse, oh gosh, take some oxygen, bit of a step, do you know what I'm saying? Back as ever to your breaking royal story of the day. Interesting thing really, because say 4 or 5 years ago, anybody would want Meghan on the guest list of a major event. Whichever you thought or think about this particular lady, she did obviously get the big invites. It was the darling of the moment. In fact, some people might suggest that her biggest moment was when she was the very first guest editor of Vogue. Do you remember that? When the new editor, Edward Enninful, took over. Now, Mr. Enninful is, shall we say, moving sideways, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't say his tenure has been a spectacular success either. Even the recent covers of the trans athlete people in the list, and it's just all crap, I mean, the bottom line is the sales are plummeting down because people who buy Vogue are very rich. They don't want to be lectured to, and the likes of you and me might look at Vogue if we could afford it, or as I've said to you before, in my studio, they gave away all the glossy magazines. So you can understand when they claim there's so many copies being sold, it's truly not the case. And not many people pick up Vogue simply because it's too heavy. You know what I mean, ladies? Far too heavy to cart around in your handbag. Who needs that? But now, according to that very well-placed source, the recent event at the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, Vogue World, which had a plethora of celebrities attending, I use that term loosely, headed by Anna Wintour, who's taken the reins back of Vogue, absolutely. Well, it's interesting to note that, as I said, there was a bit of a sideline battle going on behind the scenes. Mr. Enninful at least liked the idea of offering an absolute invite to Meghan Markle. After all, they're chums, as I said, gushing at each other in this promo video, even though they had a slight tate-to-tate towards the end of that once famous relationship. But apparently, according to that very well-placed source, and as ever we have to say allegedly, Anna Wintour simply did not want the circus of Meghan Markle coming to town. Now, it's a difficult thing, isn't it? Because whichever way you look at it, you want eyeballs to screen. And I would say that actually the Vogue World event wasn't that successful. I mean, again, one of the star acts was a guy called Stormzy. Can you list any of his songs? No. So you would have been better off hiring a disco camp track like the group Steps or somebody like that to entertain the crowd. You really don't want a rapper. It never gets the party going, does it? But back to Meghan. Does this mean she's now off, literally, the Vogue guest list? Well, as I say, Anna is now the brand new sort of cheese, as it were, the control of the magazine. And what her team are hoping to do, Meghan's brand new team, was sort of elevate her back into the glossy world of magazines, i.e. Dior, Cartier, the expensive brands. What you need is a magazine like that, indeed the group Condé Nast, behind you. Seemingly though, without the backing of editorial director Anna Wintour, cheese of Vogue, it won't be anytime soon. And as for Meghan and her team, as I say, who are desperate to make sure she gets in the glosses rather than the Stars, the Globe and the National Enquirer, you can understand why there are problems afoot. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.